If you're on time, that means you're late. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Recovery Classroom. My name is Drew. I am alcoholic. Today, I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I cannot be any more grateful. I'm excited about tonight's crosstalk meeting. Every Tuesday night, we go inside of a treatment facility that's local to our area, and we just sit down and have a good old-fashioned dialogue and conversation with folks. And so we're excited about tonight. Matter of fact, if our friends from that facility are watching on the YouTube channel this morning, then we will see you guys tonight at 7 o'clock. Also, if you're local to the Huntington, West Virginia area, you could experience a crosstalk meeting for yourself every Friday night at 7 o'clock, 5747 East Pea Ridge Road in Huntington. We have a crosstalk meeting that's open to the general public. So even folks show up that aren't alcoholic or drug addicts. They just show up because they got questions. And so we try to give them those answers. We'll see you Friday night at 7 o'clock. If you're on time, that means you're late. And what does that mean? Well, it's within the context of meetings. Meetings are vitally important. We always talk about the significance that meetings can play, the role that they can play in our personal recovery that helps us develop and nurture and foster and strengthen that support network, that we can rely upon to help us navigate our road to recovery. Meetings are vitally important, and we strongly encourage people to participate in those meetings. But there's also a couple other meetings that are just as important, and I want to kind of touch on here today. For the newcomer walking into the room for the very first time, we're talking about the brand new person. This is their first effort at sobriety, and they walk into that room at the very first time. Usually, if this meeting starts at 7, they're usually walking in at 6:59, 6:58, right? Or this may be also for that person who's been in recovery for a long time, and maybe they're just kind of they're in a portion of the recovery where the meetings are starting to feel stagnant and they need something new. And so they go to another meeting. The meetings that we typically go to, yes, they're vitally important, but it's not just that meeting that we need to pay attention to. See, it's really the meeting before the meeting and the meeting after the meeting. Those two sides of the main meeting are sometimes just as important, and in some cases more important than the actual meeting itself. Let's talk about the meeting before the meeting. It's incredibly important that the meeting before the meeting, that when that newcomer walks in, or that person that's brand new to that meeting, when they walk in, they're paying attention, they're watching, they're listening, they're observing, they're taking in the whole entire atmosphere, the whole entire environment. And what happens is that meeting, the meeting before the meeting, really sets the tone for the remainder of the evening for that individual. Likewise, the meeting after the meeting, well, that's a pretty important one too, because that's where you get to kind of solidify those lasting impressions that you're going to take away with you at the end of the day. When you leave that meeting, you're going to have those lasting impressions that are going to stay with you, and that could make the difference in your mind between, oh, that was a good meeting or that was a bad meeting. I reached the point in my recovery where I was excited to go to meetings. It was like I'd wake up, I've shared this before, I'd wake up and be like, well, today's Thursday, so we're going to this meeting, and today's Friday, we're going to that meeting. And it wasn't so much I was excited about the actual meeting itself, which I was excited about the meeting before the meeting and the meeting after the meeting, because I knew I was showing up early to set the tone, to set the stage for the actual meeting itself. I knew I was going to be staying late to kind of help solidify those lasting impressions that I was going to take away from that meeting, I was going to have of that meeting. And I remember when I first came in the rooms and I was going to meetings, I would walk into that new meeting and I would sit there and I would scan the room. I would pay attention, not eavesdrop per se, but I would at least keep an ear bent towards other conversations to see how people were interacting. And I would see people having fun and talking and cutting up. I've said this many times. When I was like 25, 30 days in, I walked into a room that I didn't plan on walking into. And that meeting was the meeting that changed my life, because I saw how people were being happy, joyous, and free. They were demonstrating those attributes that I was seeking myself. I wanted to be like that. I wanted to be able to laugh and cut up and have a good time. And so the meeting before the meeting is just as vitally important. And again, as I said, in some cases, even more important than the actual meeting itself. The meeting after the meeting, so to speak, the one outside where you're just hanging out after the meeting, just talking and bullshitting with folks, that is just as vitally important as well, because that's the one that you're going to walk away with. That's the impression you're going to walk away with for that overall meeting. So I want to encourage you, don't show up on time, show up early, and stay late after the meeting. With that being said, I'm out of time. Thank you guys for letting me come in and share 5 to 10 minutes of your day with you. You guys absolutely keep me sober, and I could not be any more appreciative. We'll be talking again soon. Remember, you can't get drunk if you don't take that first drink.